Clara Diaz stared at the blinking job post on her tablet. It said, "Seeking discreet human assistant for private duties. Cleanliness, loyalty, and adaptability required. High pay, off-world, discretion mandatory." She raised an eyebrow. The listing didn't mention much. No company name. No clear duties. Just a contact address and the symbol of the Galactic Accord at the bottom. That was strange. Most jobs didn't come with official government seals, especially not maid jobs. But Clara was desperate. Her rent was overdue. Her landlord had already sent a warning. If she didn't pay in 3 days, she'd be out on the street. She had no family left on Earth, and engineering jobs were rare these days. AI handled most of them, so with a sigh and a shrug, she clicked, "Apply." The next morning, a sleek black hover car arrived at her building. It didn't land. Instead, it hovered outside her window. A robotic voice spoke from its speaker. "Clara Diaz, you have been accepted. Please bring only essentials. You are now under Accord confidentiality." She grabbed her old backpack, stuffed it with clothes, a tool set, and her lucky wrench, then stepped into the car. The door closed, and the vehicle shot up into the clouds. Clara didn't ask questions. She had learned not to. In a galaxy full of aliens, politicians, and secrets, questions were dangerous. Answers were worse. The car docked with a shuttle, and the shuttle launched into orbit. Minutes later, Clara saw it, a massive silver ship floating in space. It looked like a bird in flight, its wings wide and glowing with soft blue lights. The ship's name was written in elegant alien script, viewership. As the shuttle docked, a tall woman stood waiting. She wasn't human. Her skin was a smooth violet. Her eyes were gold and cat-like. She wore a flowing silver gown and a crown that shimmered like liquid metal. "I am Thalvera, Queen of the Ilarian Ascendancy," she said, her voice calm and deep. "You are Clara Diaz, yes?" Clara nodded, a little nervous. Yes, Your Majesty. I applied for the maid job?" Thalvera smiled slightly. "Yes, maid. That's what we called it." She turned and walked, her long gown trailing behind. Clara followed, trying not to trip over her own boots. The inside of the ship was like nothing Clara had ever seen. The halls were made of white crystal. The lights moved on their own, guiding them forward. Alien servants bowed silently as they passed. Thalvera led her to a small room. It had a soft bed, a wardrobe, and a screen built into the wall. "This is your chamber," the Queen said. "Your official title is Personal Operations Assistant. You will clean, of course, but you will also assist me with special matters. Matters that require trust." Clara frowned. "What kind of special matters?" Thalvera's golden eyes glowed. "You will see. For now, rest. Your first task begins tomorrow." Clara lay on the soft bed, staring at the ceiling. It shimmered like a night sky, full of stars. This was the fanciest maid job in history, but something didn't feel right. Why did a queen need a human maid? Why bring her all the way to space? Still, the room was warm. The bed was perfect, and she hadn't eaten in 2 days. So she closed her eyes and slept. The next day, Clara was given a sleek uniform, silver and black, with the Queen's symbol on the chest. She met the other staff. They weren't staff. They were soldiers, silent, armored, and always watching. Her first task was odd. She was told to clean the navigation deck, but when she got there, it was already spotless. Instead, a terminal blinked on as she approached. It said, "Please confirm human identity. Insert manual code override." Clara stared. This wasn't cleaning, this was tech work. Carefully, she pulled out her tool set. She bypassed the terminal lock using an old engineering trick, looping the core line through a bypass filter. The screen lit up with hidden files, dozens of them, communications logs, secret calls, surveillance images. Clara copied them to a secure drive. Later, she gave the drive to Thalvera in a quiet corridor. "You were watching your own ship?" Clara asked. Thalvera nodded. "There are traitors aboard. I need someone they would not suspect. A human. A maid." Clara realized she hadn't been hired to sweep floors. She was here because she didn't fit in, because she could go unnoticed, because she could do things no one else dared to. Later that night, Clara stood by a window looking out at the stars. She felt small. Earth was just a tiny blue dot far behind her. Now she was part of something bigger. A secret mission, a galactic queen's private game. She didn't know the rules yet, but she knew one thing. This was no ordinary job, and Clara Diaz was no ordinary maid. Clara woke early the next day. The ship's ceiling turned from a starry sky to a soft glowing blue, acting like an alarm. She sat up slowly. Her room was quiet. Too quiet. The screen on the wall turned on, showing a message. Task: inspect subdeck Gamma 12. Clean, report irregularities. Clara blinked. Subdeck Gamma 12? That wasn't a normal part of the ship's maid duties. She had read the crew layout. That deck was listed as inactive, probably sealed off. Still, she pulled on her uniform, grabbed her small toolkit, and made her way through the long crystal corridors. As always, alien soldiers stood at key doors, but no one stopped her. A simple maid didn't draw attention. Subdeck Gamma 12 was cold and dark. The doors creaked open when Clara entered. The lights were flickering. Something was wrong. Inside, there were old computers, empty cargo crates, and strange machines she didn't recognize. Dust floated in the air, which was odd. This ship cleaned itself. But something had cut off the system here. She walked slowly, careful not to touch anything. Then she heard it. A soft humming sound, low and steady, like power flowing. She followed the noise until she found a small black device stuck behind one of the machines. It was definitely not Ilarian tech. It looked rough, with jagged metal and purple lights. Clara crouched down to examine it. A sensor blinked when she got close. Her eyes widened. A cloaked probe. Not from this ship. Maybe not even from this species. Clara knew enough from her engineering classes. This thing was Scorveth made. The Scorveth were an alien empire always looking for weak spots in the Ilarian court. The Accord said they were at peace, but everyone knew peace didn't last long between enemies. She backed away carefully. She needed to report this. But before she could turn, she heard a sound. Someone was watching her. A figure stepped out from the shadows, tall, wearing a black robe and half a helmet that hid their face. "You're not supposed to be here," the voice said. Deep, mechanical. Clara forced a calm voice. "I'm just cleaning. You know, dust, old junk?" The figure raised a small weapon. Clara reacted fast. She tossed her cleaner drone at him. It buzzed, spraying foam everywhere. The attacker growled, slipping on the foam. Clara used the chance to duck, grab a loose metal rod, and swing it hard. The weapon clattered to the floor. The attacker tried to reach it, but Clara kicked it away and ran. Back in the main deck, Clara entered the Queen's private chambers without knocking. Thalvera was in a long, dark robe, standing by a large screen showing star maps. "You found something," she said without turning. Clara tossed the metal probe onto the table. "Scorveth spy device. And a guy in a helmet tried to shoot me. You sent me in there on purpose, didn't you?" Thalvera turned slowly. "I needed proof. I suspected spies were hiding on my own ship, but if I sent soldiers, the traitors would know. They ignore." Clara folded her arms. "So I'm not a maid. I'm your undercover human agent." The Queen smiled faintly. "Yes, and you're doing better than expected." Thalvera explained the rest. "There is a secret group within the Ilarian High Court. They want to weaken the ascendancy from the inside. They believe peace with Scorveth is foolish. But the Scorveth, they offer deals in shadows. Power, weapons, influence. Some nobles listen." Clara shook her head. "So your own people might be working with the enemy." "Exactly," Thalvera said. "I must uncover them before the next royal summit. If I accuse without proof, I'll be removed from the throne." Clara looked at the probe. "And you want me to do the dirty work? You can move where others cannot. You see what machines miss. Human thinking. Chaotic, but clever." Clara agreed. Not because she trusted the Queen completely, but because something inside her liked the challenge. She wasn't just cleaning floors anymore. She was working in shadows, uncovering betrayal on a galactic ship. Her next task, the ship's data relay center. She posed as a cleaner again, mopping the polished floors while scanning for tampered wires. She found one, deliberately rerouted. A hidden link feeding data out of the ship. She traced it to an encrypted transmitter behind a fake wall panel. Using her old Earth tools, Clara opened it and hacked the core. Instead of using high-tech code, she built a short circuit that overloaded the alien system. The panel fried, but it revealed a name. Minister Vorthan, Level 7 Access, Priority. Thalvera's movements bingo. She brought the proof to Thalvera again. The Queen looked at the name and frowned. Vorthan sits beside me at council meetings. If he reports to Scorveth, others may too. Clara nodded. You need to act fast. If he senses you know, he'll disappear, or worse. Thalvera placed a hand on Clara's shoulder. You've done well, Earth Dweller. You've uncovered more in 2 days than my agents did in months. Clara smirked. Guess humans are good at more than just cleaning toilets. That night, Clara didn't sleep. She lay awake, watching the stars again. She had signed up to be a maid. Now she was playing spy games in space, and the strange part, she liked it. 3 days later, the Royal Star Cruiser Virel Shah glided into orbit around Zenthari Prime, a neutral planet known for hosting high-level meetings. A royal summit was scheduled there, one where Queen Thalvera would meet nobles, ministers, and foreign ambassadors, including possibly spies. Clara stood at the large viewing window watching the glowing city below. The planet sparkled with blue lights and floating buildings. She had never seen anything like it. You will attend the summit, Thalvera said behind her. Clara turned. Me? I'm not even sure how to hold a wine glass the right way. Thalvera smiled softly. You will not be drinking. You will be listening. The plan was simple but dangerous. Queen Thalvera would act calm, act unaware. She would pretend everything was fine. Meanwhile, Clara would sneak into the Scorveth ambassador's private shuttle during the welcome banquet. Security will be light there, Thalvera explained. They assume no one is foolish enough to sneak in. But I need what's on their encrypted data core. Clara sighed. So I sneak in, steal data from a dangerous alien, and sneak back out in a dress? The Queen raised an eyebrow. A ceremonial uniform, elegant but flexible. We had it made for you. That night, the summit began. The ballroom was grand, crystal, walls, soft golden lights, floating tables that moved on command. Alien nobles wore long robes, shimmering suits, and strange glowing jewelry. Clara entered behind Thalvera, wearing her sleek new outfit. It looked like a gown, but was stitched with armor fibers and small hidden pockets. Her toolkit was disguised as a clutch bag. She played the role of the quiet human assistant. No one looked twice at her. While the Queen greeted the ministers, Clara quietly slipped away down a side hall. She reached the landing bay where the Scorveth ambassador's shuttle waited, sleek, black, and humming with quiet energy. Using a thin bypass wire hidden in her sleeve, Clara unlocked the side panel. The door opened with a soft hiss. Inside, the shuttle was dark and cold. Purple lights glowed from the walls. She moved carefully, her soft shoes silent on the floor. She found the data core at the back, glowing, locked, alien. Her hands worked fast, connecting a human-made adapter, one she had built from scraps on the ship. The screen lit up. A message began downloading. Operation Shattercrown. Assassination orders confirmed. Target, Queen Thalvera. Activation, Summit Day. Clara's heart pounded. It wasn't just spying. They were planning to kill the Queen today. Suddenly, she heard footsteps outside. She yanked out the drive and hid behind a control panel. 2 Scorveth guards entered, their armor black with red marks. They spoke in low tones. Clara couldn't understand, but their weapons were out. One walked close. Too close. Clara waited until his back turned, then activated a pulse device in her pocket. It let out a small shock, just enough to short the lights, darkness. She rolled across the floor, slipped past them, and ran. One shouted. The other fired, but the shot missed. Clara slid through the shuttle door and slammed her elbow into the lock. The panel sparked and sealed. She raced back into the summit hall, trying to blend in. Her breathing was heavy, but no one seemed to notice. She moved behind the curtain near the Queen's table and signaled her. Talavera rose gracefully. "I feel unwell," she said aloud. "My assistant will escort me to rest." Together they left the hall and entered a private corridor. Clara handed her the drive. "They're planning to kill you. Today. It's called Operation Shatter Crown." The Queen's golden eyes narrowed. "I feared this. We must act fast." An emergency meeting was held in a sealed chamber. Only 3 people were there: Talavera, Clara, and General Arith, head of the Queen's personal guard. Clara explained what she saw and what she heard. The Queen played the data. The Skorveth plan was clear. During the summit, a disguised weapon would be activated in the ballroom, killing Talavera instantly. General Arith growled. "They're using a pulse burst, hidden in the chandelier. It will look like a power accident." The Queen looked at Clara. "Can you disable it?" Clara shrugged. "Only if I climb the ceiling before dessert." The Queen gave the order. "Delay. The next host. Dim the lights. Let Clara do what she does best." Within minutes, Clara was in the ceiling crawlspace above the ballroom. The lights flickered low, part of the distraction plan. She crawled forward, heart pounding, sweat on her brow. Below her, the nobles laughed and sipped their glowing drinks. She reached the chandelier. It wasn't just lights. It held a small pulse weapon buried in the frame. Her fingers moved quickly. She had 5 minutes. Suddenly, the weapon began. Charging too late? No, she had 1 move left. Clara used a tiny earth device, her old vacuum cleaner motor, and forced a power loop. The pulse built up, then burned out. The chandelier flickered. The weapon was fried. She smiled. Never underestimate Earth tech. Back in the Queen's chamber, Clara stood beside Talavera as the alien nobles bowed before her. The assassination had failed. No one knew how, but Talavera did. "You have saved my life," she told Clara. Clara shrugged. "Just doing my job, Your Majesty." Talavera stepped closer. "You've done more than that. You exposed a plot, snuck into enemy hands, and disarmed a weapon mid-party, all without anyone noticing." Clara smiled. "Maybe I deserve a raise," the Queen laughed. "Maybe you deserve a title." That night, Clara looked out at the stars again. She came to space to clean floors. Now, she was dodging laser guns, hacking alien systems, and saving queens. And strangely enough, she liked it. Clara had saved a queen, and yet the next morning she was mopping the floor. "Why am I still cleaning hallways?" she muttered. But deep down she knew. It was cover. No one suspected a maid. Not after the summit. To everyone else she was just a quiet human doing her boring job. But now Clara had a new role. The Queen's secret shadow agent. She still had no badge, no rank, no special title. But Talavera trusted her, and that meant everything. Later that day, the Queen summoned Clara to her private observatory. The stars outside glowed red and gold, slowly shifting as the ship passed through a gas field. "Clara," Talavera said softly, "you've done more than I expected, but we're not safe yet." Clara leaned on the railing. "Another problem?" The Queen nodded. "We intercepted a message from Minister Vorthon. He's moving something off ship, a package, big secret. I want to know what it is." Clara raised an eyebrow. "And I assume you want me to go poke around?" Talavera's lips curled into a half smile. "Yes, but this time you'll have a partner." Clara didn't like partners, but orders were orders. She met the new guy, in the hangar, a tall, serious-looking human with dark hair and sharp blue eyes. He wore a sleek black suit and carried a pulse blade on his hip. "I'm Jace, Intelligence Division, Earth Sector," he said, offering a hand. Clara shook it. "Clara, Maid Division." Jace raised an eyebrow. "You're the one who disarmed the summit trap?" Clara grinned. "With a vacuum cleaner motor, yep," he smiled. "I think I'm gonna like working with you." Their mission took them to Cargo Bay 17, one of the oldest, least used areas. On the Viril disguised as cleaners again, Clara and Jace pushed a hover cart filled with fake supplies. They acted casual, laughing and talking as if they were on a normal shift. Clara whispered, "You notice the guards?" 4. All armored. All pretending to be maintenance crew, Jace replied softly. She nodded. "Something big is inside." They slipped behind a crate and watched. A floating drone entered the bay carrying a long metal capsule. It hummed with locked energy. Jace tapped his scanner. "That's no package. That's a cryopod. Something, or someone, is inside." Clara frowned. "Is it alive?" Before he could answer, the pod emitted a sound. A pulse. Sharp. Deep. It made Clara's skin crawl. Then she saw it. Inside the pod, for just a second, a glowing eye opened. Not Ilarian. Not human. Something ancient. The guards activated a hidden device on the wall. A small portal shimmered open, an illegal tech forbidden by the Accord. "They're moving it off the ship," Jace whispered. "No records, no tracking." Clara tapped her wrist comm. "Queen, we have a pod, a hidden gate, and a very awake thing." Talvera's voice replied calmly, "Follow it. Do not engage." The portal opened fully, and the pod floated through. Jace and Clara jumped in after it. The portal dumped them in a dark jungle. Heavy trees, red leaves, a planet not listed on standard maps. The sky above was greenish, filled with strange birds and 2 distant moons. Clara coughed. "Where the hell are we?" Jace looked around. "No satellite signals, no beacon. This is a hidden world." They moved quietly, staying low as they followed the hoverpod's trail. Ahead, they saw a clearing. Several Scorveth soldiers stood in a circle, watching as a hooded alien activated strange machines. The pod hovered in the center, glowing brighter. The hooded one raised its hand and the pod opened. Clara gasped. Inside was a creature made of liquid silver, humanoid but shifting constantly. Its face formed and melted every few seconds. Its eyes were glowing stars. "What is that?" Clara whispered. Jace looked pale. "An ancient weapon. I've seen one in old Earth files. It's a bioform shifter, banned since the Galactic Wars. It can change into anything, take over minds, whole empires fell to them." Clara's voice shook. "And Vorthon is trying to bring it back." The creature stepped out. The Scorveth bowed. "We are ready," said one soldier. The shifter turned toward the forest. Its head changed, matching the face of Queen Talvera perfectly. Clara's stomach turned. "They're going to replace her," she whispered. "Fake her, rule through her." Jace whispered back, "We have to stop it. Now." But before they could move, Clara stepped on a branch. Crack, the aliens turned. "Intruders!" A chase began. Clara and Jace ran through the jungle as plasma blasts flew past them. One scorched a tree beside Clara's head, another hit a rock and exploded. They ducked under vines, jumped over roots, and reached the edge of a cliff. Below them, a waterfall and a rocky river. Jace looked back. "We're out of time." Clara grabbed his hand. "Jump!" They leapt and splashed hard into the water below. Hours later, soaked and bruised, they returned through the backup portal Jace had planted earlier. Talvera met them in her Wario room. "You were right," Clara said. "They plan to replace you with a shapeshifter," Jace added. "It's ancient and dangerous. They worship it." Talvera stood in silence for a moment, then spoke. "This is bigger than I feared. Vorthon is not working alone. He plans to control the throne from the shadows." Clara stepped forward. "Then we stop him. but not as maids or guests. As fighters. The queen looked at her. You're ready? Clara nodded. Let's end this. That night, Clara sharpened a small blade she had stolen from one of the jungle guards. She wasn't a soldier. She wasn't trained for war, but she was tired of running, of hiding, of pretending. She was going to fight for truth, for the queen, and for the galaxy that still had no idea a human maid was its last hope. The war room buzzed with quiet urgency. Queen Thalvera stood in full armor now, golden plates laced with glowing energy lines. Her long cape floated gently behind her. She no longer looked like a queen at a ball. She looked like a warrior, monarch. Clara stood beside her holding a custom pistol and her old cleaning tool. The pistol was for enemies. The cleaning tool? For luck. Jace was checking the holomap. Minister Vorthan's ship is docked in the outer ring. He's attending a private event in the core chamber. That's where the shapeshifter is going. Clara frowned. And the plan? Thalvera looked at her. You and Jace go in first, confirm the fake. I'll follow with the royal guard once you signal. Jace looked uncertain. And what if they catch us before we signal? The queen's eyes narrowed. Then fight. Clara and Jace moved fast. They wore stolen Scorveth armor, their faces hidden behind dark visors. Nobody stopped them. The guards assumed they were loyal soldiers. The inner chamber of the royal station was massive. Tall glass walls, high columns, and a raised throne platform. The lights were dimmed and soft music played. At the center stood Queen Thalvera. But Clara knew right away it wasn't her. The face was perfect. The voice, too. But the walk? Too smooth. Too polished. The real queen had a bit of fire in her steps. This one walked like a mirror. Jace whispered, That's the shapeshifter. Clara took a breath. Time to make some noise. She pulled out a flash pellet and threw it at the ground. Boom. Light exploded. The crowd panicked. Jace raised his pistol. Everyone on the floor. The fake queen turned, eyes glowing unnaturally. You dare? Clara fired a pulse shot right at its head. The shot passed through, but something changed. The face began to melt. Silver liquid poured down. The creature hissed and screamed, changing shape rapidly. Thalvera, then Jace, then Clara herself. Clara stepped back. I look weird when I'm mad. Jace threw her a plasma net. Use this! Clara leaped forward and slammed the net over the shapeshifter. The creature twisted, screamed, and thrashed, but the net held. Crowd screamed. Guards ran in, and then Queen Thalvera entered. The real queen walked through the smoke like thunder. Gasps echoed through the room as people saw two Thalveras. The queen raised her voice. Look at this monster, Vorthan's true weapon. The room went silent. Vorthan, standing at the edge, stepped back. Lies. This is nonsense. I did no such. Clara tossed the captured creature at his feet. Then why did it call you master 10 minutes ago? Jace tapped his wrist. A recorded message played. Initiating order shatter crown. Replace the queen. Obey Vorthan. It was the shapeshifter's voice. Gasps turned to shouts. Some guards drew weapons on Vorthan. Others fled. The traitor growled, eyes burning. Then, I'll take the throne by force. Suddenly, explosions rocked the chamber. Vorthan's hidden troops stormed in, dark-armored warriors with glowing red visors. They fired at the queen and her loyalists. Clara ducked. Guess we're doing this the hard way. Jace threw her a small shield. Cover left. I'll take right. Clara ran behind a pillar, blasting two enemy soldiers. Her maid instincts kicked in, not fear, not panic, just focus. She jumped onto a railing, kicked off a wall, and landed behind a Scorveth soldier. One hit to the back. Down. Queen Thalvera fought like a storm. Her golden spear spun through the air, taking down 3 enemies at once. She moved like light, fast and deadly. Clara looked up. Okay, she's scary. More enemies came. Clara, ran out of ammo. She grabbed her old cleaning pole, rewired the stun end with a loose wire, and jabbed it into a soldier's back. Zap! He dropped instantly. She grinned. Still the best tool in space. But then, she saw it. Vorthon had reached the throne. He was activating a device, a black orb glowing with ancient runes. The shapeshifter was breaking free of the net, twitching and changing rapidly. Clara had seconds. She ran across the chamber, jumped off the throne stairs, and tackled the creature. Before it reached the orb, they both crashed to the floor, its snarled claws out. You are nothing, it hissed. A human maid. Clara smirked. Exactly, and no one sees me coming. She shoved the cleaned-out vacuum motor, wired to overload, into the creature's chest. Boom! The shapeshifter exploded in a flash of silver light. Vorthon screamed. The orb cracked and shattered. Guards rushed in and surrounded him. Clara, dazed, lay on the ground, blinking. Thalvera knelt beside her. You did it, you stopped him. Clara coughed. Does this mean I get tomorrow off? 1 week later, a grand ceremony was held on the royal balcony. Hundreds gathered. Ilarian nobles, human diplomats, even some Scorveth who had turned against. Vorth and Queen Thalvera stood tall, glowing in white robes. At her side was Clara, wearing something new. Not a uniform, not armor. A simple dark coat, a badge on her chest. Royal operative, human liaison, Clara Hart. The Queen spoke to the crowd. This woman came here to clean floors, but she cleaned up treason, exposed lies, and fought a monster. She is proof that greatness hides in unexpected places. The crowd cheered. Clara waved awkwardly. Hi? Thalvera leaned toward her. Still want to be a maid? Clara smiled. Only if it comes with a plasma broom. Later that night, Clara sat on the balcony, watching the stars. Peaceful. Quiet. Jace walked up beside her. So what now? Clara shrugged. I don't know. Maybe save the galaxy again, or maybe take a nap. He laughed. You've earned it. She leaned back and looked up. I came here to find work. Instead, I found a purpose, a queen, a war, a shape-shifting alien. She grinned. And somehow, I'm still standing.